Okay, we are streaming. Awesome. And let me get the URL for the stream going. Here we go. Streaming now. Put that there. Tweet. Put on Facebook. Streaming now. Post. Okay. We are good. First time chatter, long time listener. It's been too long since last one. I'm going to be doing these longer, more frequently, especially for the people on Patreon. I just got back. My face is still covered in makeup. I just got back from the Fox Studios. Let me just make this a little lower. And it was the most heated I've ever had, except for that time with Steven Sigmund, which is the cover photo on my on my Twitter header. Let's see. Is there a... Okay, there's a super chat's enabled. Okay, cool. I do look skinny. Thank you, whoever's saying that. So it just aired 8 o'clock live. It was me with Marie Harf and Brooke Goldstein. Brooke Goldstein I love to death. She's great. Marie, I did not know who she was. I'd heard of her frequently because she's always attacked on Twitter. Well, skinny would have been better. She's always attacked on Twitter. I didn't know who she was. I assumed she was like some kind of right-wing, just talking points person. And while we were there, she kept interrupting me. The clip will be up after midnight. My friend's ripping it. And it was so weird. I've never had anything like that before, to the point where at some point Kennedy goes, Kennedy goes, Michael, what do you think, blah, blah. Marie interjects. Kennedy goes, hey, I asked Michael. I want to know what Michael has to say. I start answering, and she interrupts again. And I blurted out, Jesus Christ, she's shameless. And during the commercial, she was giving guff. I wasn't looking at her. And when Kennedy was introducing me for the second segment, as a resident North Korea expert, she goes, under her breath. I'm like, are you insane? And then when there's something about Brooke, she also kind of snorted. It was so weird. So, and then what's really funny is when we went to commercial, apparently people were making fun of her on Twitter after what I said to her, because I'm not gonna... It was just weird. There's no reason to interrupt people. I'm on shows. I don't think I'm ever on a show, except maybe I was on Dave Smith, where I agree with the people. They have a right to their opinion. They're there to express their opinion. They're going to be informed and articulate. I might learn something. Even if I don't, they're there, and it's their time. So this was on Kennedy. It was on 8 o'clock. It's going to repeat again at midnight. And here's the other thing. I was texting with a friend of mine. He was saying, oh, this is how liberals work. Bullshit. I've been on with many, many, many liberals. Jamu Green, very far left. I was in the hallway at Fox when she was on with Kristen Tate, and Jamu just said flat out, oh, President Trump has funded personally many abortions. I mean, never interrupts me, never talks over me. Jessica Tarlov, very left-wing, Clinton lady. She's going to be my guest in 2 weeks on You're Welcome. Sweetheart, I can't think of one lefty I don't like, because they're all professionals and awesome. So I'm not even saying I don't like Marie. It was just so... I've been doing this for quite a while. It was so baffling. And I didn't really know what to do about it, because it was so, like, this is her first time. So she apparently has a show with Guy Benson, a podcast that they do together. But it was just absolutely bonkers, and I couldn't really know what to do. I wanted to say thank you to all the people at my um, Patreon, by the way. So my new show, Nightshade, is on compoundmedia.com 4 days a week. Um, it's been 3 episodes so far. The next episode's going to drop in an hour and a half, and we're working out the kinks very quickly, and I'm really pleased with it already. So today we had them reset kind of the framing. Instead of it just being me staring at a camera, we have me kind of to the left, then we have a little bubble over my head here, where we can have pictures show up. Those of you on my Patreon and my secret Facebook group have been giving me great input for article ideas. What we're going to start doing, I had this idea on the show on the air, spoiler alert, is to have, it's this hand, is to have, you know how like you have the person talking and then you'll have a picture over here? Just have random pictures and have no relevance to anything I'm saying, just to troll with the audience. So I'm not going to really have guests on this one. Though tomorrow I'm going to have Kurt Schlichter. Me and him are Twitter buddies. You should definitely follow him because he just won the toy maker defamation case against Ben Shapiro. Remember that guy? Ahmed, I think his name was. And I'm going to have him call in. He was the attorney and walk us through that case. So that's going to be very exciting. Are you going to join the... Okay, I mean, the idea that I'd be joining, if I would be joining any political party, it would be the... Libertarian Party. Is just really kind of not absolutely the situation. Gavin's already been a guest on You're Welcome, by the way. So that's where we stand there. Let's talk about what's going on with North Korea. He said this, North Korea, there was just this meeting with Pompeo, and everyone is oh, wow. I just want to say thank you. I'm still a filthy minarchist, but you have been a big influence in the change of my thinking. I wish you the best. That is so nice. Wow. Oh, I'm not used to nice. Thank you so much, Patrick. Wow, thank you. When are you coming back to Syracuse? Question mark, exclamation point, exclamation point, question mark, exclamation point. Whenever they want to have me speak. I had a blast. We had a lot of fun. I stayed late. I went out to that great Brooklyn barbecue place. He likes money, guys. Yeah, you know. Come on, La Happy Merchant. There's already GIFs, JPEGs of me doing La Happy Merchant. They taught me good in yeshiva. No, but the good thing about this Top Chat thing, or this Super Chats, what they finally enabled, is it kind of lets you interrupt and catch the person's eye. And if you don't want to join a Patreon and just want to support someone, that's appreciated. If not, not. Are you a Mitt Romney anarchist? No, I'm no Dave Smith. So, with North Korea, so Mike Pompeo goes there. He doesn't meet with Kim Jong-un. This is supposed to have some amazing significance. Okay, let's look at the UK, our closest ally, or Canada maybe is our closest ally. If the British Home Secretary came, or the British Foreign Secretary came to the United States, first of all, no American can name who that is. If they came here, would they necessarily be meeting with Trump? Of course not. Would that be a snub? No. So Mike Pompeo isn't the president or the vice president. The idea that it would be a given he's meeting with Kim Jong-un is false, especially because a lot of the stuff is going on behind the scenes. Then North Korea releases a statement saying, oh, you know, this, you know, the gangster attitude, so on and so forth. How is North Korea... Thank you, Chris, thank you so much. Wow. Oh, you guys are so... I was having this talk with Anthony Cumia, and I wish I had an answer. The people who support me, even though I'm an asshole in a sense, are so kind, and it's very flattering, and it's very weird to me. It's I don't like using that word weird. It's just very disorienting coming from New York, where people are so often nasty, especially within an industry. So it's very appreciated, all the support, even it's just the kind emails. I mean, I don't even really get shit on Twitter. Like people, like in my group when we were talking about Nightshade advice, people are giving me really great ideas. The name Nightshade, I forgot the guy's name. I apologize. I mailed him a signed book. That was from a fan. It was a brilliant, brilliant name. So and then while Pompeo is in North Korea, there's photos in the North Korean newspapers that Kim Jong-un is like looking at them raising potatoes. Ha 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 ha. Well, if you've read Dear Reader, and if you haven't, you should. You'll know that the potato revolution was something that Kim Jong-il did, and basically the premise of this is that Kim Jong-un is saying, I'm making sure you guys are getting fed. That's a very important imagery for a country that's under sanctions and that has historically, thanks to the government, had problems feeding its people. So that's one point. Another point is, if North Korea was, let's pretend, which this is not going to happen, let's suppose they conceded everything. Do you really think publicly they would be like, we're conceding everything? Or publicly they'd have to do it kicking and screaming? And wouldn't it be a good idea for us to make them have that freedom to be kicking and screaming and be like, all right, they're kicking and screaming, let them kick and scream as long as they do what we want. I made this point on Kennedy, I'll make it again, and next time you guys are talking North Korea with someone, oh god, I was at this party and someone got in my face about it, I just had to leave the conversation, I couldn't handle it. I was at this party and they were saying, we didn't get anything out of North Korea. I said, well, one of the things we got is that they saw footage, the North Korean population saw footage on North Korean television of the Singapore skyline. And this is actually kind of a big deal. And he goes, well, plenty of people saw, the skyline through like black market DVDs or whatever. And I go, sure, some of them have, but there's a difference between a percentage of population seeing that and then seeing it under the sanction of the government on national television. And he goes, are you saying there's a large percentage of the North Korean population that hasn't seen all this on DVD? And I got to go to the bathroom. Because they don't have electricity. What the hell are you talking about? And especially watching foreign skylines, that's not going to be happening. So the point is, that is a big deal. Getting hostages back is a big deal. But again, we have to see what happens as things go down the road. I'm very hopeful, but you have to trust based on what they do and not on what they say. Choo-choo, let's get this going. Love you, homie. Jews and trains, we're not real fans of each other, historically speaking. Love your work at Cult of the Lich. My fellow Lich! How's it going in the underworld? Pretty good. I still got my makeup on. It's just really sick and disgusting. So, the next time someone talks to you about North Korea, ask them this. How hard was it to get Obamacare through, passed? They had to have 60 seats. House had to pass it. Senate had to pass it. The Tea Party comes up. Tea Party's flipping out. They had to bribe Marie Landrieu, senator from Louisiana, the so-called Louisiana Purchase. The senator from Nebraska, whose name I'm blanking on. They had to bribe him. The Cornhusker payback. All these pro-life congressmen in the House saying it doesn't protect pro-life Democrats. They're like, oh, we're going to take care of that. They were going to lose their seats. The Tea Party gets up, screaming in their face in town halls that whole summer. The polls were all against it. Scott Brown gets Ted Kennedy's Senate seat, Republican, in Massachusetts. And all these things happened one after another until they finally got Obamacare. It was a very long, complicated process. So next time someone brings up North Korea and all this, because they're like, oh, there was a bad meeting, so it's over. It's like, do you think solving the North Korean issue is going to be easier than getting Obamacare passed? And when you put in those terms, it's pretty obvious. And again, I've had to negotiate contracts for books, for TV appearances. I'm sure everyone at their job has to go negotiate contracts. Has anyone ever had a long, buying a house? You're buying a house. You're going to have, there's going to be sticking points, and there's sometimes tough. Has anyone ever, when there's one sticking point, been like, well, it's over? But that's what they're saying just because Pompeo, who's not the president, had a bad meeting with North Korea, and they called him a gangster. As if the name-calling mattered one way or another. The name-calling was horrible in the past, and that led to absolutely nothing. So it's ridiculous. Great work. Do you have an opinion on China Uncensored? I don't know what that is. So I'm not a China person per se. That's not my field of expertise. I can't wait to watch this Marie Hart clip because it was so intense and just it's so weird to be talked over on a show like this. So and Kennedy had to call her out too, and she still kept doing it. Anyway, I'm babbling. So that's my 2 cents on North Korea. The big things I'm interested on that we're going to be covering on Nightshade in the coming days are the Theresa. I made this point in Kennedy. Theresa May, when Trump goes to the UK, there's a tiny chance she's not going to be prime minister. Would I do a convo with Sarkhan of Akkad? Of course, in a second. That's a no-brainer. I would enjoy that immensely. So Theresa May is hanging on by a thread. I discussed this on Nightshade earlier this week. Angela Merkel, who knows what's going on there? I've been following the polls in Germany very closely. They are going in an unprecedented direction. You have record lows for Angela Merkel's Christian Democrats, record lows for the Social Democrats, record highs for Alternative for Germany. The Greens are spiking. It's really in a transition phase. And things can get really crazy because Germany, of course, is the heart of the EU. And I tweeted this out earlier, that it's kind of ironic that so-called Nazis are the ones who are fighting to have Europe unified under German rule. The other big country to follow right now is Italy, and also Sweden is having their elections in 2 months, I believe almost 2 months from today, and the Swedish Democrats, who are the populist party, are doing very well, and my understanding is they're not really covered in the media, but depending on the poll you read, they're alternating. They're either in first or in third. And if they're in third, they were at 12% at the last election, now they're in 20-something. 20-something is a huge chunk of parliamentary seats, and then you can really do some damage. So that's going to be very kind of exciting to watch. Let me see if we have... Okay, now I'll leave it open to questions and for another 15 minutes. I think I'm going to start trying to do these like every... I'm still hot I'm doing the show. I'm doing these probably like once a week. I don't know why I'm saying so much. Oh, because I just did 2 shows in a row, and I'm still kind of... Are you watching Queer Eye? No. Who has successfully trolled you? I have been trolled many times, and I'm blanking on who. China Unsent. Okay, this is cool. I'm glad I saw the link to your live stream. Thank you. Cult is a YouTube channel. You should watch the clip. You should watch the clip live on stream or one of your shows. I don't know what that means. What about Sydney Leathers? What is FOSTA? Me and Sydney follow each other on Twitter. What did you say I can watch Nightshade? I didn't know about it until you mentioned it now. I don't see it on Gas Digital. So I left Gas Digital because I didn't want to be behind a paywall with You're Welcome. I wanted to have guests. If I'm having big-name guests, I want them to be able to promote the show, but because it's behind a paywall, they couldn't do that. So that was kind of annoying. So Gas Digital, it's free. If you're a subscriber, you get access to like the last 15 episodes, and you get in high def, and you get to watch it live, and you get part of the chat room. But otherwise, it's free, so if you don't want to subscribe, that's cool too. But I'm still at Compound Media starting this past Monday, 2 days ago. I have a show called Nightshade, which is a half-hour kind of John Oliver type show, which I think was really something that was missing out there. And what I've figured out to do, because Gavin McGinnis, excuse me, used to have a show like that on Compound where every day he'd wrap up the news. And at first I thought it had to be comprehensive, but 30 minutes is a very short amount of time. So now what I'm focusing on doing is getting 3 or 4 stories, getting in depth, and making sure it's things that either you're not going to hear anywhere else, or if you are hearing it anywhere else, you're going to hear a perspective that would hopefully be a perspective you haven't heard anywhere else. And from the response I've been getting, people have been enjoying it. The biggest criticism, by far, I've gotten is that it's too short, which is like the most backhanded compliment. It's not even backhanded compliment that I could possibly imagine. So did you see the Sacha Baron Cohen stuff? I talk about that on tonight's episode of Nightshade. Please tell Keith to fix the new website. Sure. I'm on a You're Welcome marathon on Compound Media. I would love to know what your favorite episode is, and I returned 2 days ago. Oh, the sex trafficking law. Oh, that's a good idea. Hey, Chris. Thank you so much. Michael Malice is my favorite moderate libertarian. I'm no Dave Smith. Compound Media with Anthony Cumia. Yes, that's correct. That is a great idea. Let me write this down. That is a great idea, Nicholas. Where's my list of... And, of course, I can't find my list of guests that I'm going to have on my show. And why would I have it as a Word document? I'll just put it here. You know what, Nicholas? Just put that in the Facebook group, and I'll remember that way, because I can't find my list right now of future guests. I'm very excited. Tuesday on You're Welcome, I'm going to have Cody Wilson, who's the guy behind Defense Distributed and having 3D printers printing guns. The week after that, I have Jessica Tarlov. And there's a couple other people I'm talking to. And once everything is perfect with You're Welcome, because we had audio issues, which have been driving me crazy, and which will never happen again, I'm going to try to get Jonathan Haidt and Camille Paglia. Any chances of going back on Rogan soon? I'm sure I can go back. If Kim Jong-un comes to the States, I'm sure I can get back. And I'm sure I'll be back when my book comes out. Well, maybe I shouldn't say sure. Malice purposely ignoring my Bill Mitchell comment. No, I'm actually looking at the camera, so get over yourself. Thoughts on Kavanaugh? I don't know. I don't know much about him, and I made this point on Nightshade. It would be helpful if the left reacted in proportion to how bad the person was, but the reaction would have been absolutely identical, so I have no idea whether he's terrible or wonderful. And the fact that Mitt Romney likes him and Heritage likes him is a big problem. The fact that he's a Bush appointee is a big problem. I hear he's pretty bad on the Fourth Amendment. At the same time, if he's great on 2A, that it is extremely important and helpful. When is the book coming out? Kills me. It kills me. I don't know. I don't know. Why would I know? Would you get Matt Hughes on your welcome? I was just texting with him over the weekend. Would you ever go on The Breakfast Club? I don't know what that is. Oh, wait, I did. Is that the one where the people argue with each other? Not that that narrows it down to anything. What is the project you and Tom Woods are working on that he mentioned on his show this week? Oh, he mentioned it on the show. Oh, that is cool. You are one of my all-time favorite Rogan guests. Thank you so much. Michael, who would have been your pick for SCOTUS? I would have obviously had to have a troll pick. I think, wouldn't it be funny if he put up, who would I pick? I don't know enough about jurisprudence to name that. The golden age of Malice is upon us. Yes, sir. Did you go to ROK immediately after the DPRK like I did? No, not at all. You can read about my trip at Reason Magazine. It's reason.com. If you search for My Week in North Korea and Michael Malice, you'll be able to find it. What is your favorite part of the Holocaust? What is my favorite part of the jokes? Duh. It's Charlemagne's show. You did Brilliant Idiots. Oh, yeah. Okay. That's where Hillary was like, is it working? Of course I would go on The Breakfast Club. Are you kidding? That's a no-brainer. The Donald should have just picked himself for the seat. That would have been funny. That would have been really funny. On a scale of 1 to 10, how cucky is Tom Woods? 1. What is wrong with you? Shame. I've never been to South Korea. Didn't a bunch of gun patents go public for 3D printers? I'm going to ask Cody all about that on Tuesday. Your favorite You're Welcome episodes were Pat Flynn, Matt Eisman, and Anthony. Was Anthony really on You're Welcome? I guess he was on the last one, kind of. Would you ever consider going on Adam Carolla's show? In a heartbeat. I'm surprised I haven't been asked. I'm really surprised I've never been on Crowder. And I don't know why that is, because everyone I know has been on multiple times. Get John McAfee. I should get John McAfee on You're Welcome. Yeah, that's a good idea. Who is your favorite Russian writer? Ayn Rand. It's an easy one. Go on Eastside Dave's show. I was taping Nightshade yesterday after Eastside Dave, and all these people were in the lobby after his show, and Big A ate my dinner while I was taping, and I was just like, I don't know what this is. Do you interact with the Korean community in New York City? No. That's because Crowder is a Nazi. I don't think that's true. Anthony was on Gas, You're Welcome. Oh, that's what you mean. Yeah, I thought you meant... Just saw the Joe Rogan podcast with Thad. Surprising it wasn't taken well by many. Do you like Ripple? Would you get Nick Mullen of Come Town on You're Welcome? He was a red-eye guy. I don't know him. Thoughts on Steve Ditko? I was a DC person, but I didn't like Mr. A at all. Any chance of Victor Sebastian? Oh, I would love to get him on. Cody, can you put that in the Facebook group also? Who is your hero? Alexander Hamilton, who was shot today in 1804. And by the way, in 2 hours, it's my birthday. So I'm going to be 53. Malice talks to a lot of Nazis. Okay, the podcast with Joe Rogan is really interesting. Hello from Florida. Hi, Mr. Palmer. When do I sell my Bitcoin? Whenever you need the money. Naked and Famous opens in August. They unfollowed me. They followed 6 people, and I was like the 7th. They unfollowed me after I talked about them on Joe Rogan. We'll never forgive them. I don't know. Oh, Michael Knowles. Okay. Would you go on a Daily Wire show? Of course. Michael Knowles and I follow each other. Of course I would go. You're wishing me happy birthday prematurely. Would you like to see Nicholas Fuentes on your show? Not particularly. Do you have a favorite Russian YouTuber? I'm not a big YouTube guy. Thoughts on Dana Fleischman? I know her casually through a friend in common. Get Jim Goad on You're Welcome. Jim and I talk all the time. I'm serious about the deodorant. My girlfriend hates my pit stains. I don't know what that's in reference to. This is what the super chats are for. What do you think of Ayn Rand's sister not liking the United States? I don't care. What topic would you talk to Ben Shapiro about? Having a deep voice. We can, kind of bond over that. Favorite food is pink bubblegum ice cream from Baskin Robbins. The most annoying account you follow on Twitter. Ooh, I don't know. Are you fluent in Ukrainian? No, not at all. I saw your podcast with Kathy Young, not Lauren Southern. Um, Lauren Southern was the episode's going to be uploaded tonight. What are your two favorite restaurants of any kind in Brooklyn? I'm not telling you the first. Zenkichi, I'll tell you, is the first. I don't know what the second would be. Um, would you have Ben Shapiro on your welcome? Of course, but he's way too big for me, I think. Are there any potential guests that you find interesting but you feel like you wouldn't have good chemistry with our show? I don't think so. I think it's a job of a host to have good chemistry, whoever the guest is. And part of being a co-author for many years was figuring out a way to do that. So that skill set I have, and that's very useful. If you said I was the most annoying, I don't think you're annoying at all. I think you're great, Wesley. Sorry. You're asking about deodorant pit stains. Did you solve the problem? No, I went back to my old deodorant. So I was tweeting about how like I had this old deodorant which didn't leave pit stains. I switched for 1 month to like Degree. All my shirts were ruined. I switched back to the unscented version of the old brand because the scented version was discontinued. I tried to get the stains out, and I can't. And it drives me fucking crazy. Make sure you announce it to the ends of the earth when you have Camille Pagli on. Oh my god, I can't wait. I cannot wait. What's the... Happy early birthday. Aw, now leave Filthy Ruski. Ruski's with 2 S's, asshole. Just like the best group in Germany. What's the most mediocre book you've read? Mediocre is a tough question. I just finished your reader today. Oh, well, what'd you think? You should get a show on CRTV. You and Gavin have good chemistry. I do enjoy talking to Gavin. He's very, very, very quick. And he's like that off camera, too. Your tweet asking for Cole's Cash is pure evil. Someone gave me Cole's Cash, and I got a shirt for $10 cheaper. So I don't know why it's evil at all. It's great. What did you think of Scott Adams' Twitter Nazi/block technique? I don't know what that is. Have you ever thought of getting the surgery to get rid of your sweat glands? Sure. Mary finished Hamilton and on to Fool's Errand. Okay, more power to you. Hold on. You know what time it is. Oh. Monster time. I can't wait to watch this episode. Lauren Harry's All Dressed Up is the best song of all time. False. Does Trump have chance to negotiate with Putin? Of course. Do you like comic books? Motherfucker, I'm a comic book character. That's up to $65 in the fucking secondary market. Ego and hubris. Goggle it. First thing that comes to mind about the country New Zealand. The Hobbit. Are IPAs overrated? I'm not a beer person. How much sugar do you consume daily? Let me go through I eat the same thing every day. So breakfast, lunch. I have apple juice for lunch. I guess that counts as sugar. I have a thing of yogurt, which kind of has some sugar in it, and that's it. So I'm not, even though I'm a big sugar person. What's your thoughts on George Lincoln Rockwell? Isn't he the head of the American Nazi Party? I don't really know much about him. Dear Reader was an invaluable reading before my DPRK trip. Oh, wow. Have a blast. Alex Epstein. I don't think I know Alex Epstein. Who's Alex Epstein? Does that name sound familiar? Is he the one with the Ayn Rand Institute? Would you vote for Tom Woods? Ooh. No, but I'd give him money. Chick-fil-A or McDonald's? I would have to say McDonald's because I had Chick-fil-A. I didn't think there was that much meat in it. And I didn't know why everyone was so excited about it. McDonald's fries are amazing. And I'm not a big McDonald's person, but that's... Yeah, Alex... Yeah, the oil guy. Yeah. I got into it a little bit with him on Facebook in a humorous way. The fossil fuels guy. Yeah. Would you date a woman with no eyebrows? Yes. Did you read Enlightenment Now? I did read Enlightenment Now. I just finished it a couple weeks ago. Where does Dave Rubin land in the podcast spectrum? I don't know how to answer that question. Would you ever vote? I wrote, if you goggle why I will not vote, Michael Malice Guardian, I wrote an article about that. What's the deal with Libertarian Party trying to purge Mises guys like Tom? Ask them. You must have had back Chick-fil-A. I just don't think Chick-fil-A is filling. Are you Ben Shapiro's dad? No, that's Neon Taster. Would you ever interview Andrew Anglin? We have the same lawyer. Would you have Duncan Trussell? Why do I know that name? Or Chris Ryan? I don't know Chris Ryan is. Duncan Trussell's name sounds very familiar. Will North Korea ever get a Trump golf course? I sure hope so. They let one of my articles in the Guardian. Yeah, motherfucker. Cody's going to be on Tuesday. Pay attention. Will you ever read Bronze Age Pervert's book? No. Everyone always asks me about Chapo Trap House, and I don't know what it is, and I keep forgetting. So I've got time for one more question, and then we're going to bounce. Is your lawyer a Jew? Do you think I'd hire a non-Jewish lawyer? Come on now. Come on. Come on. Warren, you know better than that. Would you ride on Trump's shoulders if he offered? Who wouldn't? Follow on Twitter you're most happy about. That's a great last question. Who am I most happy to follow on Twitter? Red Steez is really, really good. Really, really good. The best Ayn Rand novel is... You have to read them in a certain order. You have to read them Anthem. If you like Anthem, you read Fountainhead, and then Atlas Shrugged. Read the Living is optional. Latest news on the new right. I'm waiting to hear back from my editor. Okay, I will talk to you guys soon. Owen Benjamin versus Norm Macdonald. Are they arguing? I adore them both. If you could fight one celebrity, who would it be? Who would I fight? I don't know. It depends. Do I want to get my ass kicked by someone cool, or do I want to, kick someone's ass? I'm not a big dude, obviously. Okay, I will talk to you all. Thank you so much for this. I'll try to do this again in a week, and this video will be up for the Patreon people after it uploads. Yeah, and talk soon. Thanks, guys.